I see. He just decided to back it up. Well, that should be all right. The truck is going to get a little lighter as the day goes on. He's ready to go. It's the calm before the storm. And here it comes. See them picking up the wire mesh a little bit. They're bringing a little bit of the concrete underneath it, so it's not directly on the plastic. It's going to wind up sitting on some concrete. Even that wet concrete is enough to hold the wire mesh up. So they're just placing it to do that right now. A lot of placing. We know where the line is. They're going to place to that line, give us a nice floor.
Back up a little bit. Pakai, não se preocupe em separar para que tem fiscal, tá? Não precisa disso.
Initial hand troweling, probably just to get the line. just to make sure there's no air bubbles down there, push any air bubbles down. Starting a little hand screeding. Just using an old school way of placing it back in during the screed, just kicking it in. And his friend's right behind him.
Go ahead.
This is probably the last bit. Starting to full float there. You gotta go in here. Yep. There's our line. Whoa. Probably should put stone in there. Right? There's some hollows there still. There's some hollows there still. We probably should have put some stone in there. I didn't even think of it. See. Yep. This is here. We're good. Sorry about the pipes, but it's the only way to do it. I'm sure you've done work, had to deal with worse, right?
Done that, been there.
Yeah. These guys are just so good at what they do. Oops, I had my finger in the wrong spot there for a second. And they're just placing, getting the air bubbles out. He's gonna have to probably dump a little more in. We're not quite where we need to be, but we're close. In the wrong place again. We're going to have to do a little bit of finesse work towards the apron to get the angle right.
I'll take a little bit more over here.
Full float. Almost made it. I'm gonna push the aggregate down, pull the cream up to the top. Here comes the last bit of concrete.
Hold it up, hold it up, hold it up.
Already starting to look like an apron. Just trying to get some placed into the corner there. Probably going to need a tiny bit more. So it depends on how the apron goes. See the angle over there that we're trying to get for the apron. Floor is perfectly flat, or will be perfectly flat, right up into the interior edge of the pier. Then the apron starts swinging down.
Well, he can wash. He can wash right there. He can wash right there.
Wash?
The truck, yeah.
Yeah. Mostly water and a little concrete? Yeah. I got a hose if he needs it.
Put down.
A little more.
A
Couple of handfuls.
Can you send that me the video?
I'll send it to Skip. Or I'll send either one.
I'll give you my number. Send me.
No worries.
Nobody record like I'm doing the whole job like this.
I tried to get just about the whole thing. Yeah. What's your name?
Michael.
Oh, you're Mike. All right.
How you doing?
I heard Mike's gonna come do it. He does all the flat work. Thank you, Mike.
That was
It's
quick.
really starting to look like a floor. Now it's sit around and wait and float,
It looks like
trowel,
something
trowel. So you got the big gun with you?
Huh?
You got the big gun with you? The power trowel?
Yep.
All right. So I just spoke to Mike and he's excited that we're going to get the video of really the entire job. I only paused a little bit, so we'll get it over to him.
That's it. You can wash.
Just about done.
You want it? You want a full
All right, so he's gonna wash. Okay, got a little extra concrete there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but we'll figure it out.
Good.
All right, so I'm gonna pause right here while the truck does his washing. Right now we're just doing the final float. Mike's gonna try to float the apron. It's coming down at about, I think if I remember from Steve and I, about 7.5%. So he's gently coming up to where it's flat, trying to maintain that 7.5% grade. And that's how you both float. You go flat in, you bring the leading edge, scrape it back. All we're trying to do is get the cream to the top, Mike, and the rocks to the bottom. Right? It's a beautiful job right there, just catching the grade that we need at the apron.
Look like a professional.
Mike just said he's both a professional and I'm saying he's a perfectionist, and that's my kind of job. It's the kind of thing where, you know, there's no reason not to make it perfect. The concrete is a perfect material. It wants to be perfect. It just needs the skilled hands behind it. It looks like we've got them right here. We have to see if we're going to need a little thrown in there, or if we got enough cream to fix that up. I can't tell if that's a few divots up there, Mike, or if that'll just wash out. That'll wash out, right?
Yeah, that was probably the leaves or something.
Yeah. Give it a little character.
That's it.
All right, I'm going to pause for a bit. They're just washing the truck, and then Mike's going to have to come back, and he's probably going to hand float the corners. They're a little tight, so there's not much you can do about it. All right, the truck's gone. That was a little bit of hand troweling going on, just to get the lines right where the flat part works, and they're doing the initial cut. This cut is right at the edge of the garage floor flat, and right at the beginning of where the apron starts. It's 7.5% grade. So, and you can see the nice cut line, and you can see the little ridge that it leaves, which if you think about any concrete job you've looked at, you always see those ridges. That's just the way it is. But they'll probably flatten them. Use the small hand trowel. Cut right in the middle. And the cuts don't really prevent cracking. You should expect to get some cracking. What it does is it gives it a place to crack. So if it's gonna crack, you want it to crack where you've already done the cuts.
Solo uno va a cortar, patrón? No, no corner. Corner, that's it.
So Mike, what I do also, and this will probably be the easiest way, is I actually upload all this to YouTube.
Yeah.
So once it's up there,
You're gonna edit, or you're gonna like edit?
a little bit.
Do cuttings and.
A little bit.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
That works.
Not too much. If there's too much repetitive stuff, then I'll edit it down. But I think this is going to be a nice long video. This is it's a lot of work. I want to make sure I capture it all. You guys done great. It's looking really good.
Even afterwards, when I put the machine on, you can know.
We're gonna get that. We're not gonna miss out on the power troweling.
Start and finish product.
The kids love the power trowel. And Mike's doing a nice job of cleaning up for us too. He didn't have to do that, but he's doing it anyway. If I can do anything on the job, it's sweep and dig trenches. So I dug the trench myself. That was sort of my job. Yeah. There's half the trench, all the rubble right behind you, and there's the rest of it. All this dirt right here.
All the extra dirt now.
Yeah. And now I can actually start backfilling. So.
Yeah, because that's all done already.
Yeah. The electrical inspector gave me the go-ahead to do this job. He didn't even come and look. He said, just take some pictures. He was super busy.
Yeah.
He said, it's only a 20-foot trench, residential. So I took some pictures with the tape measure in place, showing him that the top of the conduit was 18 inches below finished grade.
That's the code, no?
You want 18 inches below finished grade for a conduit.
Hey, Skip, go ahead.
I'm just getting some nice hand troweling in. I have a nice surface there for the service door. And these fellas have done this a lot of times, so they know there's a service door going there, there's a garage door going right in front of or right behind the piers, I should say. So they're paying extra special attention to those surfaces. And because the apron is both narrow and at its own grade, we're getting all hand work done here. There's a little bit of screeding initially to get the concrete properly placed and to push some of the aggregate down and the cream up, but now it's all hand work. You can see he's getting rid of the lines that he made when the cutting tool came in, so you won't even know that it was there. It looked like the cut just magically appeared. It's like anything else. You do an initial pass and the concrete's still wet. You come back and you do a second and a third and a fourth pass at slightly different angles with the float, slightly different angles with the trowels rather. I think he's actually hand floating there. He's going to get one more good clean cut over in the corner there. That's a little messy there. You got almost need to use a teaspoon.
Can I throw this inside it?
Once you guys are gone, I'll get a couple more bags of sand on top of that, then I start backfilling. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. And the cement truck did not collapse my driveway, so that's a plus. I was worried.
That happens sometimes.
I was worried especially because, you know, this area right here by the trench is weak, right? Some of those big boulders there were, you could see, they're backfilled. So as I build it back up, the dirt's going in first, and then I'm going to look for those gaps, and I'm going to hammer in these bigger rocks right underneath where they were. So I keep the support.
Keep tight.
So, like that rock there, that was the rock of the day. That was our biggest rock in the whole job. Yeah. I pulled that out from right here, I think. So, that's very nice. Anybody got a teaspoon? I think you need a teaspoon in there, right? That little spot in between the conduits.
Use the finger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's something very small. All right, so we're gonna pause right now. It's sit around and wait time.